Hello everyone, I am back and today we are building an old brewery and I actually had a lot of fun with this one. It's not the build that I thought that I was going to make when I started building. I was originally going to do a sort of converted warehouse, just a generic converted warehouse into a residential lot, maybe an apartment. But when I started looking for reference images, I came across this. It wasn't even like a real brewery, but I think it was like a miniature made brewery. It was really cool anyway. And I just thought, you know what? Let's give this a go because this would make a really good space for gameplay and a really good space just for The Sims. So that's what we did. And I thought what we could do is make a sort of bar, like loungy, nightclubby type vibe. So I make this is a lounge lot type, that's what I set it as, but it could easily be, like I said, a bar or a nightclub or even a restaurant, to be honest. That's the sort of, I wanted it to be kind of somewhere you could go in the day that's kind of casual, but then you could stay into the evening and it gets kind of like, it'd be a bit more lively, right? So actually saying that, it could even be a restaurant if you change some of the, obviously you'd have to add in the like waitress's table and things like that, but it could also be a restaurant and even a museum, because what I also do is, it is a brewery. I mean, I say it's a brewery, obviously it's not a functioning brewery because they don't exist in The Sims, but I do make part of it look like it is, or it was a brewery, or still is a brewery, and it's almost somewhere that maybe The Sims could walk around and look at. I'm kind of getting like vibes of, like these, they're quite trendy, these places people go and they look around and you can try all these different beers and things. And that's the kind of vibe I was going for. But then it's also somewhere you could just come and just enjoy the space if you didn't, I don't know, have the time to look around the brewery. But yeah, I mean, that could technically be a museum, right? That's kind of what a brewery is, I suppose, in that sense. So yeah, this could be lots of different lot types, whatever you fancy. You could do it. I mean, you can convert it into a massive apartment block, I suppose, as well. It could literally be anything. Once you have the basic, like once you have the structure, you can make it into anything you want. But yeah, so this side here that I'm working on now is like the brewery side. So you can see I put those massive like sliding doors. I mean, they're not actually doors, are they? I don't think they function as doors, but they look like massive, like, like a big, what the idea is here is there's like a big loading bay. So then they'd like open that and then like lorries would come and collect all the, like, I guess the boxes of beer to take them away to where they're being sold. So that's what's out here at the front. So this is where like the main brewery part is, and then the sort of public entrance, if you will, for like if you want to go to the bar area, is like off to the side where that big like sign is. And I play around a lot with like the sort of outside of the build for a little while at the start here, because I just really wanted it to be quite interesting. I didn't want it to be too flat, and I was trying to think of the type of shapes there might be in these types of buildings, and things like adding those stairs, like fire escape routes, ways to get up and down easily, the different levels, just little things like that. I mean, I have to say, to start with, I don't know what a brewery actually looks like. I've never been to one. I had a look at some reference images, but ultimately, like, especially the inside, obviously, I've just used my imagination a little bit and just thought about what it would look like, and obviously the things that I could use in The Sims to create that kind of look. And I'll be honest as well, this is the other thing I really don't like doing in my builds, is I have used the Star Wars pack. I know I try so hard not to use the Star Wars pack, and the main reason is it is just great for like industrial type items. I think this is probably like the first build in a really, really, really long time that I have used the Star Wars pack, but it's got too many items that are just like perfect for this. And I actually forget, because it's got that amazing bar, hasn't it, in one of the lots in the world. I'll be honest, I've never even played in that world. I just like got it for the items when it was really, really cheap on offer, right? I mean, I'm not going to pay full price for that, but yeah, so I do use that pack. I mean, it doesn't matter if you don't have it and you want to download it. It'll just, I guess, remove the items. But yeah, I did use this, and I feel really guilty about using it. But here we are. But yeah, so we'll have a look at those items like once we get to them. But the back here, so this is, like I was mentioning, the like big lounge, like bar, nightclub area. I don't really know what to call it, but it's just that space. I made it obviously like open out at the side, like fully, so it's all open. I can imagine in the evening it'd be like really cool to just sit out here and look over the like dock harbour, I don't call it here. I thought this lot was like perfect for it as well, like a really cool lot, because it's just so industrial, right? And it's just like, this is kind of the type of place a brewery would be. Or like, I don't know, around me there's quite a lot of breweries that are like over the water, which I think is really cool. Like, this would be really cool if it was like right up against the edge of the water, this lot. I think that'd be even more perfect, because obviously there's this like concrete before you get to the water. I did think about maybe making my own water directly outside where they could sit on the sort of like, to the right of the screen now, there's like that kind of like, well, there's going to be a seating area there, but that big like, I want to say patio, but it's really not a patio. And it's not decking either. But you know what I mean. That big area that's coming out. I thought it would be really nice if they could sit right at the edge of the water, but I thought it's close enough, right, to kind of get that vibe. But yeah, this is a really cool lot. I'm in Evergreen Harbour, so the world that comes with eco lifestyle, which is I really love this world. I really do. It's got some really nice lots, which are really close to like really interesting things. So like these ones here, like you could make so many different industrial type builds. I built on this lot a few times, and I know there's a lot as well near here where it's like by the train tracks and things. So it's like, it's really cool. The only thing about this lot, and there's a few lots here on this concrete bit, isn't there, is there's no matching concrete, which is so annoying, because obviously I've just used the concrete terrain that comes with this pack, but it doesn't match the like concrete that's on this dock area, and I really wish it would, because it would just make, you would just be able to make it blend in so much better. But that's the best one, I think, that would fit here, so that's what we did. And I leave like the sort of like within the like lot itself, any of the like outside, so like where that truck is and like this back space in between all the buildings, I keep it as the terrain it is on this lot, because I think it's really cool. It's really like rocky and like, I don't know, it's quite detailed, it's quite fun, but like it doesn't exist either obviously in the game. So anyway, I thought it was quite cool to leave that inside. So here we are on the inside, and this is where I start building these like, I'm going to call them like silos or vats, like where they would keep all the beer, basically big tubs of beer, right? Like in these big containers. And I actually do this across the 3 floors. I make it all open from the bottom all the way to the top with different like walkways, so that you can see them from like different heights. I just wanted to make sure that fitted in first before actually like, so I was like, let's just check this works before I start actually going all the way with this build, because if it doesn't, then I'm gonna have to resize everything. But it does. So then I actually move on into this like office space. So in my mind, this is where if like a lorry was coming to collect an order, this is where they'd come. There'd be like some employees in here, like, you know, like where they would go and talk to them and like collect their order and things like that. And this is the staff that would work in here to just organise all that, and like what orders are coming in, getting everything ready, that kind of like admin-y side. Not too fun, but I figured there'd be that kind of, that would be needed for a brewery. And I'm kind of, this build is kind of like, I don't want to say hipster, it's not hipster. Obviously it's very industrial, but I feel like it's one of these kind of like trendy places. You know, it's like trendy breweries. It's like not super modern, but like it's been renovated, but it's still made to look old. And yeah, so like, I don't know, in my mind it's just a little bit quirky, especially like the bar areas, some fun things we put out there. But I feel like even the brewery side of it, so like people working here would be like really cool and hip and trendy. You know what I mean? Kind of young, I don't know. But yeah. So when I came to actually then working on this like brewery area, it took me a little while to work out how I was going to make these like look like these silos I was talking about. So obviously I bring out those big ones there, and they're from this pack, the Eco Lifestyle pack. And then I just like play around with some different ones to like put underneath to make it look like they obviously are joined to something. And I think I go with these ones here, which are quite cool. Also from the Eco Lifestyle pack, I believe. And then I use this like wooden track thing is actually, it's from Snowy Escape, I think. And I think it's meant to be something to do with, I want to say tobogganing. I don't know. It's something to do with the activity. It's basically not anything to do with like, I don't know what I want to call it, like a kind of, not a conveyor belt, but you know what I mean? That kind of like idea that like a production line, because I've used it before in a build I've done like ages and ages ago, not on YouTube, but like on my gallery. It's like a production line again, like a factory. So yeah, and I put like the little bottles on as well from the Eco Lifestyle to make it look like obviously the bottles are coming off from on the beer, but obviously I know that's not like really realistic, because of course like a bottle isn't just going to come from those vats of like beer. But I thought it was quite fun, and I was a bit limited on space. I could have made it bigger, but I just liked the shape of all the buildings, and they were kind of working together, so I didn't want to change any of them at this point. So I just figured that's quite fun, like to have like the like drinks coming off like that. And then to the side here, I figured this would be kind of the, maybe like where they're like coming up with like the new flavours and things. So that's what that is off to the side. And you can see as I'm doing it, I'm like working on like the floor above, which like I said is open to the like silos and how they're making the beers. Because in my mind, you know, people, if they're coming to visit, so obviously it's a functioning brewery, but also people might come to look around it, like something fun to do. So your Sims would love it. And so I was making this walkway at the top here too, that I figured people would come up and you could watch from above. And I also knew I wanted like an area where you might even like try the beers, so we have a play around with that as well. But then what I'm doing now is actually on the floor above again, and I figured this was more for like the workers as well, because I wanted it to almost be like they could access the top of the silos. So that's what that like walkway is up there. But of course like your Sims could go and visit up there as well, like, but just for like, I mean, I probably should have put like a hazard tape or something so they don't just like fall into the silos. But yeah, so that's what like each level is supposed to be. And obviously you'll see me a lot just like trying to find items just to look kind of industrial, and there's like pipes everywhere, and like just like the idea that they're just like, it's just beer being made everywhere basically, just those vibes. And then this section off to the side is, I really wanted to have like toilets for the workers. I know that's like really, really specific, and then I just don't like the idea of like not having a toilet or somewhere just a bit more private for them to go. Because I also put a little shower, because I figured they might get a little bit like dirty, or like, I don't know, they might spill a lot of like, I don't know, liquids and like just the processing of it or making the beers, like, so they might need a shower to come and change. So this is just like a little locker space toilet for the employees, because like I said, this side is like the brewery, and then you'll see the archways, and then to the left you can see where the entrance actually, where like the public entrance is, where like if you were just coming to the bar or to visit would be. So this is what this room is here. And I also wanted it to be like a little shop where you could buy some of the beers as well. And yeah, it took me a little while to work out the space, because obviously there's like 3 big doorways here, and so managing that, right, like trying to like not block any but also like fit in what you need. But we settle on this orientation, I think. But yeah, so like I say, you can see there's the front entrance just to the left screen now, and then you'd come in and either you go to the front desk and go to the left straight through into what will be the bar area, or you can go straight ahead and visit the brewery. So I thought that's quite nice. It's sort of like divided off, has a nice flow. You can like separate it, and then obviously for the workers as well, like they're like over there, they're not kind of where the bar is, so it'll be quite loud and things. But I thought it was quite a nice little layout. And I now spend a lot of time putting these boxes on the shelves. I'll be honest, I probably should have cut this out from the footage. As you can see, I'm just, yeah. This is one of those times where I really should have the red shelf that everyone uses, but I don't know why. I just like quite enjoy doing this because I like being able to place them where I want. I don't know. It's just me. I don't know. It's just doing it organically, you know. Just doing it naturally, going with the flow. Anyway, all done now. And yeah, just putting some spillages everywhere because I just feel like glasses of beer will just break everywhere around here, don't you think? And this is, I know I'm jumping around a little bit. This is mainly because I don't know why. It took me ages to find that item, and that is one of the main items that I've used here, like a lot in this build, and it is from the Star Wars pack. So I'm really sorry, but it is just perfect. Like it looks like, obviously, like you could get all different flavors of a beer, all different types, and that's exactly what I wanted. Like the idea that they could go and be like trying them, sitting and watching them be made. I thought that was a really good vibe. And then here we are in the main sort of like bar area, and the downstairs is much more casual, I'd say, like to the point where I feel like you could just come for food in the day. I even put like high chairs and of course a baby changing room because I figured people might come in the day with children. It would be, and like it wouldn't be like rowdy at this point. Maybe into the evening it gets a bit more like fun, and that's when maybe you like also head upstairs, because that's where like there's gonna be a dance area and just a bit more like intimate as well. And I really wanted this to be like obviously still part of the build, so it's still part of the original brewery, but obviously has been converted. So you'll see like I know I do the bifold doors again. I know I'm a little bit obsessed with them sometimes, but they just work. And yeah, so like opening it up and just making it much more like light and airy and just a vibe. Like honestly, like this is just such a vibe. I really got inspired by like a place that's near me. It's sort of like a restaurant bar type place, which has these like really long tables and like really long benches, so you kind of end up sitting next to people, which I know is not to everyone's like, not everyone would like to do that because you might be sat next to people you don't really like, but anyway, yeah, so even if you were like just like a couple or something, like two of you go in, you'd be on this big table and then there'd be like other people next to you too, but there's no like benches like that in The Sims. It'd be really cool if we had something like that, but yeah, so I just go with those chairs which are kind of like rusticy, which I thought like really fit with the sort of like industrial vibe. And again, like I'm using those like I think that's really good for the back of the bar. Like it just really looks like, because you're at a brewery, you feel like there'd be like this like massive choice. Like there'd just be like so many different flavors of beer, different types and things. That yeah, they just have all of the options, so you'd come and just try them all and stuff like that. So I just felt like I needed to have lots and lots and lots of different looking like drafts for them, but yeah. And then I do also put some like seating areas, like sofa areas, because I feel like it'd be, like I said, it'd be quite casual in the day. You might even come for like, I don't want to say a coffee, but that kind of vibe, rather than like a proper like sit down session, like just casual, maybe just like stop off there while you're going shopping or something like that. But yeah, that's the vibe we're going for. And I'm really sorry if you can hear rain. It is like chucking it down here. Like it has not stopped raining. I don't know, I feel like it's been raining a lot recently, hasn't it? I mean, to be fair, like it was quite nice on the weekend. We had a bank holiday weekend here in the UK, which was really nice. It was actually quite sunny. We did a little Easter egg hunt. That was very fun. But yeah, like since then, it's just not stopped raining. And it's actually, I don't know if you remember, I mentioned before we're doing some work to our house, and it's actually slowed down the works of the house a little bit because of the rain. But we're back on track now, so that's great. It's been a bit interesting that going on, but it's fun. It's fun. I'm doing all the like fun bits, right? Picking out the little details and not worrying about the perhaps more important things that are actually happening, like structurally things, which you don't have to worry about on The Sims, right? Isn't that great? When you build on The Sims, you can make something that is just like would not be possible in real life, or not that it wouldn't be possible, but it would be very hard to do, right? Like structurally would be very difficult to do. Like a lot of this, like knocking down walls in this old building would be pretty hard and expensive. That's the main thing, right? It's so cheap to do it on The Sims. You can just make an extension for not very much money. But yeah, so it's quite nice when you come back to building on The Sims. It's very enjoyable compared to building IRL. But yeah, but it's all fun and games. And I actually I block up a door. I don't know if you just noticed, but I block up like this like double door behind one of those bar, like the Star Wars bar things I keep banging on about. Sorry I keep talking about them. I just think they're just great for this build, don't you think? But I actually block up a double door because I wanted the door to show from the outside, but like on the inside I didn't need it. I was kind of in the way. So I block it up. So it might be like a bit of a fire hazard, but it's okay because they can run through this like kitchen and also run out the bifold. I mean, if there's a fire, they can just like fly out the bifold doors, like, so that's all good. But yeah, I just feel like I have to address that because I just feel like I've blocked it up and it's probably not like the best thing to do. But there we are. And then upstairs here is, like I said before, this sort of more what could be the kind of nightclub if you wanted it to be a nightclub, the nightclub area, because obviously I do put like the DJ decks and it's a bit more like low lighting. Although there is like, I don't know if you saw at the start, I do put windows in the roof. So I use the like glass roof tile to make a sort of interesting looking roof. So there would be light coming above, which you probably wouldn't have necessarily in a nightclub. You'd probably want it to be quite dark, but it is still quite dark, and I figured it'd be quite cool at night to be able to see out the top above. Like, I don't know, I thought it'd be quite cool to see the stars as you're dancing. And almost this could be quite romantic. I mean, I say romantic, like there's a few little corners, like I make a little corner by the stairs where you could just like sit. I think it's quite cozy and quite chill, because I feel like although I've put DJ decks and music would probably be quite loud, like I say, I think it would be quite alternative. And I also put the like kind of performing area outside, so I feel like maybe sometimes they just have people like live performing, maybe like upcoming bands in the area, I don't know. So it would be quite just a nice place to go with friends, or like I say, like even with family if you just want a more chilled out vibe downstairs. Really, you could do lots of different things. I do wish I put maybe like a games type activity here, you know what I mean, like darts or something, just maybe something for a bit of activity. But you guys can add it in if you wish. That is something I probably should have added. But I just made a lot of seating area, to be honest. It's just, with builds like this, I know like it's, because when they're so big, you just kind of want it to be full of Sims. And I know I've done that thing where I've put like multiple bars. I think, is there 4? Yeah, I think I've put 4 like functional bars. And of course, there'll only be one bartender, which is really disappointing because it just makes it seem so less like realistic. You know, you'd expect there to be like obviously a bartender at every single bar, which there would be in real life, and it'd just be all like hustly bustly, and yeah. But I mean, what I always do is I like hire one. When I go to the lots, I hire one for each. I know it's expensive, but I hire one in gameplay so that there's like different bartenders, and I think that just adds to it. And hopefully lots of Sims. I have made this like an up and coming hotspot. So hopefully like loads of Sims will come here, so it'll be like a real nice vibe. But yeah, this is it. This is the brewery. Hope you enjoyed. I'm just finishing up with a bit of, I just do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, just to add a bit more little details. And I will leave you with some sweet shots and see you in the next one. Bye.